Hey everybody, Who's Your Jedi here with another review for you. This time I'm talking the Riverdale episodes Prom Night and Fear the Reaper. And if you're wondering, well, what's up with the hat? Simply put, my hair is not in a cooperative mood today. Can't get it to not look like complete and utter garbage. So I grabbed my trusty straw hat, and yes, this is a one-piece Monkey D. Luffy hat, if anybody is wondering, uh, and stuck it on my head. Actually, I think it kind of looks good on me. It sort of works. But anyway, let's talk about these episodes. So, let's get started. Honestly, the whole episode with Archie dealing with the aftermath of that boxer guy's death, I thought this was dumb in a lot of ways because Archie is like mourning. Everybody's like kind of going on and on about how terrible a tragedy is that this drug addicted attack dog of a mobster died. Now, granted, Archie doesn't quite understand that this guy was given orders to kill him, and Archie's a good guy at heart, but everybody is really like freaking out. Like this is, somebody who was, an actual decent human being when everything we see about him says no, he wasn't. And even his sister at the end of the episode acknowledges, like, yeah, he was kind of a messed up guy with a lot of problems. So this just seems like such an extreme reaction to the death of somebody who, frankly, was a kind of a scumbag. Now, sure, his sister is going to be upset about this. She knew that she has known him all his life and loved him in spite of his flaws. Okay, I get her and this guy's family being upset. But even under the circumstances, the way it's looked, like everybody is just lashing out and blaming all of this on Archie with really crummy evidence is really weird, especially as his sister knows, and she says to Archie that he had a problem with drugs. So the idea that nobody is taking the idea that he might have been killed by something he was taking a little more seriously and immediately wants to jump on blaming everything on Archie, yeah. Now, granted, I'm simplifying things a little bit, but still, this is just sort of a little too much in this whole situation. Still, it was kind of fun to see Archie just grab Elio and just basically like, dude, you're gonna give me that money, you're gonna pay those people off, or I'm gonna freaking beat you bloody. And, this is kind of one of those things with guys like Elio is that unless, like earlier in the episode, they have some goons hanging around, guys like this are nothing. And this is kind of one of these things that, people like this, their power exists in things around them, the ability, like money and influence and the ability to get other people to do what they want. And that is not power that is not to be discounted. But if you can get them in a situation where that's not what they can really call upon, then these people just break like that. I mean, look at, somebody like Hiram is a nice example. Now, Hiram is a tough dude who can, who we have seen, for a man his age, is in very good shape and can handle himself physically. But throw somebody with a gun his way, he's just as dead as anybody else. So, yeah, this is kind of a nice thing to remind us that, there are everybody has their limits and everybody has their weaknesses. And even an average guy like Archie can stand toe-to-toe with some pretty serious people under the right circumstances. But then again, under the right circumstances, anybody can potentially take down anybody else. Let's see, so the whole Griffins and Gargoyles thing, that was a lot better done. That was much more interesting. Kurtz was super creepy. And the whole thing with, okay, this is how FP has to find out the truth about his wife. And really, Gladys's whole plan was to basically be a kingpin, and have her husband, the sheriff, never have a clue, which really is a terrible plan that makes absolutely no sense. And yeah, I mean, it's just kind of ridiculous. And that was kind of cool with them having to rob Pops and FP actually getting shot. And I do like the fact that they did take the time to say that, okay, FP's not going to get thrown back in jail for this because he was under duress. Now, how next episode Jellybean doesn't seem to be aware of any of this, like, hey, my dad just got shot, and she just talks about griffins and gargoyles all casual, like it's again kind of ridiculous. There's definitely been a notable drop in the writing quality this season. I think that's a fair thing to say. Let's see. Oh boy, am I really getting sick and tired of this farm stuff? I really can't wait for this to get wrapped up so we can move on to something else next season. But anyway, so Evelyn turns out to be like 27 years old and Edgar's wife. And then we find this out, it's like the public, like some public official who's not a member of the cult is alerted to this, and yet she's still going to the school. And like Cheryl even throws her age in her face. I can only assume Principal Weatherby, being a member of the cult, is somehow, just looking the other way on all of this. And the whole situation where, again, they try to get Betty to join the cult, and it doesn't work basically until her dad attacks her again. Now, I'm still a little on the fence as to whether or not that was Hal. But reading some of the comments other people have made, it's sort of like, okay, apparently he cut his hand off, replaced it with the hook. Okay, but why is he trying to kill Betty? That doesn't really make any sense. There are way more people in Riverdale that would make sense to kill than Betty. Betty's actually kind of turned to him. Now, granted, he's probably not too terribly happy about being thrown in jail, and Betty was a big part of that. But still, it just doesn't really ring true. And why would Hal ally himself with the Gargoyle King? Again, this doesn't make sense. This all feels like an elaborate trap. Something's going on here. And let's see, what else do we have to talk about? It's kind of nice to see that Betty did at least get a win in getting her nephew out of the cult. Now, granted, it seems like she's now in the hands of Penelope Blossom, which is not good with a capital N and a capital G, but pick your poison, I suppose. I mean, at least Penelope will protect the kid. I mean, and not raise him in a cult. I do like that they kind of quite firmly did the thing with like giving us definitive proof that Edgar is not the Gargoyle King. That would have just been too easy. All we really know about who the Gargoyle King is that he's somebody who had sandy hair. Well, boy, who is that? Pretty much most of the characters on Riverdale, older adult men. Hiram has black hair. Hal has black hair. FP has black hair. Clifford, well, he was gone gray. Ditto well, Clifford and Claudius are dead, so that doesn't really matter. Yeah, nobody's really jumping out at me as a viable suspect. I mean, granted, whoever this was, could have worn a wig or dyed their hair that day, whatever. It's just, I don't know. But I do think it's kind of telling that I am kind of wondering though, like the previous episode, we got to see and got a nice reminder that Hiram himself has some tattoos. Be kind of funny if one of those was a prison tattoo, but anyway. And of course, we also get to see last episode. Oh, Hiram is like, yeah, the guy who tried to murder me is the real Archie, and I'm gonna get him. And then this episode, the most recent one, we find out that no, he lied to Veronica about her being the real owner of Pops and the bar. Hiram once again apparently deciding that screwing over his own daughter is a good way to maintain a happy relationship with her. I mean, really, like, what is his goal here? It's kind of ridiculous. Like, what is he actually trying to do? I mean, Veronica is 17 years old. They give it about another year and some change, and there's nothing he can do to stop her from really walking out of his life, at least legally. Now, financially, sure, but Veronica has shown herself to be extraordinarily resourceful, and it's kind of hard to believe that she wouldn't land on her feet, even if Hiram did decide to interfere. I mean, that's really the only thing I can possibly think is this is just him continually screwing her over to try and keep her close to him, which really doesn't make sense. And only, like, there's no way that he can kind of wave that under Veronica's nose as leverage unless he reveals that he has, again, screwed her over, which is only going to make her even more angry at him. It just makes no goddamn sense. Let's see. I did like that Cheryl is finally kind of starting to realize, oh, hey, this farm isn't all it's cracked up to be. And I think she's kind of really sort of getting like just how much Edgar is willing to play power games with her. And Cheryl is no stranger to power games, which, you know, from her personality and background is something she's going to respond really poorly to. But again, Edgar's got this whole whatever it is, letting her be with Jason thing going on. And man, oh man, do I want to know just what the heck this guy is doing that is pulling this off. I mean, I can only think this is like some sort of crazy ass hypnosis or something. But we've only got 2 more episodes to go, so let's see. What else do we have to talk about? Some nice stuff with Josie and her dad. That's kind of cool. Nice to see that they're working on her a little bit more as a character, but again, throws a wrench into Archie's relationship issues. And now he's kind of back to the situation with like, oh, me and Veronica are just friends. Oh, and despite the truce I made with Hiram, we're going to team up to try and take him down. I mean, fair. Hiram is plotting to kill Archie again, but Archie doesn't know this. So it is kind of interesting that in a very bizarre way, Hiram and Archie are kind of similar. It's almost as if Archie is a somewhat more goody-goody version of teenage Hiram. Teenage Hiram, back in the day, was already beginning his path as a criminal. But then again, look at some of the stuff Archie has done the last couple of seasons, and he's really not that far off the mark. It would be an interesting idea if Veronica and Archie were making progress of going down the road of becoming the same as Hiram and Hermione. By the way, does anybody really think that Hermione's going to suffer any consequences for killing the sheriff several episodes back? I mean, nobody has made any kind of references to that. All right, well, I think that's everything I have for you guys this time around. So until next time, please comment, rate, and subscribe, and take care and have a good one.